Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. I came over here to Blessing House to do a video real quick. During this time of being at home and during the virus situation, I'm getting a lot of questions asked to me about things, meaning everybody's at home and they're back on the dating sites and trying to find ladies. And they are, asking, well, should I send money and things like that. I wanted to say firstly, if you're actually dating someone on the internet, it's fine, to get really close and everything else, but really be careful on the commitments. Be careful on getting committed to someone that you've really not met yet, that you've not been in the same room and you've not, talked to and, shook their hand and things like that, because you don't really know where they come from and where you come from, because it's the same instances. You may be coming from another country, but they really don't know who you are. So you really need to, and you don't know who they are. You really don't know if they're living with their parents, and if they help their parents, if they do the laundry and they do things like that. I mean, you'll find a lot of situations where here in the Philippines, you got a 40-year-old lady, the mom is still doing the laundry. And she may have 2 or 3 kids. So the mommy is doing laundry for everybody, the 40-year-old and all the kids, and her kids, and the other kids, and the other sister kids, and the son's kids. And you'll find that in the house, we have 5, 6, 7 children, and the grandma's doing all the work. And of course, not saying that nobody else does any work, but there are instances, there's quite a few instances where the children they're there, they're there. They may help cook from time to time, they may help clean from time to time, but it's not really a ritual, because what happens is, you get in that situation where you're 20 at home, you're 21, you may leave the house, you may be an OFW, you may come back and find yourself out of funds in a short period of time, because a lot of times OFWs will send money home, and they don't save for themselves when they're in wherever they're at, in Dubai or China or wherever they're at, Hong Kong. And if they don't have funds, for an example, for themselves, savings, and you'll find that I would say 90% of the ladies, I know of 2 ladies that came home recently that have money, that they saved their money. They didn't really need to send money home because the family was wealthy anyway. Or became wealthy after the fact they left and just ended up staying in the country. But there are times where the ladies are there, they're OFW and they're working hard, and they came back and they may have 20, 30,000 peso or even 100,000 peso. Well, you know as well as I do, in 6 or 8 months or a year or 2 years, that money is gone. More likely it's gone in 6 or 8 months. You'll find that also, and I'm getting a lot of questions that people are actually saying, well, I send her, I've been sending her 200 a week. I've been sending this money. I've been sending that money. So be careful on sending money to the Philippines. Be careful on sending and who you're sending it to until you really get to know them. I'm seeing a new trend that seems to be happening because people are at home. They're more on the internet and they're more on other things, and people are looking at things. And so I'm seeing that people are actually saying, oh, okay, maybe I'll think about coming to the Philippines. So I'm seeing a new era, a new group of men. I'm seeing a very new group of men. And I'm seeing men that are wealthy in U.S. at 35 and 40 years old are looking to come to the Philippines. And they're finding ladies, no worries about finding ladies online. They're finding ladies and they're asking, Tom, what is a great amount of money to send to the Philippines? Well, you'll find that most Filipina live on the average anywhere from $3 to $5 to $100 a month, $120, $150 a month. But you find that they're sending that every week to the families, and they've never seen that much money before in their life. On the average, like across the street, the gentleman makes as a security guard, he makes about 8,000 peso a month. So being a security guard, 8,000 peso a month, that's $160. That's his income for the month, and he's feeding a family of 9. A family of 9, because the girlfriend's got a boyfriend now they got a baby, another daughter has a boy, and you guys understand. I don't have to explain everything to you. You guys understand the scenario. And then you got sisters, brothers sometimes coming over and living there. So you have that happen quite a bit also. And what happens is you'll have a household that'll have, 2 or 3 ladies that are scamming other foreigners, and they're already married. And so I just want to let guys know, please make sure you know, run a Cinemar, number 1. Number 2 is, it's online. Just go on the Philippines, look up Cinemar. You'll see it. There's a site. Put their full name in. You can run a Cinemar. It's going to cost you a little money, $5, $10, and run a Cinemar and find out if they're married or not. But because what happens is you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. It's better to find out now. If you're dumping money, a guy sent me a message yesterday. I'm buying a lady a phone, and she wants something else. Now she wants something. I said, why are you sending her money? If she needs a phone, you buy a phone. Instead of buying a $200 phone, you buy a phone in town right now for $20, an Android phone, a reusable, nice $20 phone. It works just as good as one that's $200. But this girl wanted a $200 phone, but yet she wants a $200 phone, and she's living with mom and pop in the house, and she has a child already. So I told him, I said, well, if she has a child already, that means that she was in a relationship at one time. Make sure she's not in a relationship now. Make sure her hubby is not living there with her. You'll find that a lot of times the men will live there with their parents, or she will move in with his parents, and you'll have a group of 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 people living in a small house. And it happens quite a bit. It's just the way life is. And it's understandable. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, before you start sending your hard-earned money that you're working hard all through the years, make sure you figure out where you're sending that money to. I'm doing this video kind of an emergency situation because so many people are just sending money. Don't send money to the Philippines until you know who you're sending it to. And that should be the title of this video. Don't send money to the Philippines until you know who you send it to, because you never know who you're sending it to, right? You want to make sure it is the person that you've been talking to for a period of time. And you want to make sure that the person's not married, doesn't already have a boyfriend. And you want to make sure, because now people say, well, I said this wrong word and she's mad at me. Well, she'll get over it. Well, I said, and I tell the guys, don't text me your problems. Don't email me all your problems, because I can't help you. I'm not going to help you. If someone is saying, oh, I said this wrong word and she's mad at me, well, she'll get over it. And she will. She'll get over it. Just like you'll get over it if she says something in English maybe not good to you. And that sometimes happens because you have communication gap problems, because people don't speak 100% English, and you don't speak Visaya, Tagalog, or Cebuano, or things like that, Ilocano. So you have to learn their lady, where she's coming from, what she's about, what your goal is. The most important thing, when you meet your lady the very first time here in the Philippines or on the computer, what are you looking for in a man? And number 2 is, what is your goal in life? And you'll find there's so many, I don't know. I don't have one. Filipinos, the culture itself, live on the day, not on the future. And so you have to really look at that. The Filipino culture itself lives for the day. Temporary happiness. And then they don't necessarily worry too much about the future. Because if they have an influx of cash of, say, 100, 200, 300,000 peso, for some reason they want it or they get it or whatever, they'll go buy a car with it, instead of saving it, put it in the bank and things like that. So they don't worry about down the road, because that'll take care of itself down the road. And in some cases it does, but not always. We all understand that. It's sort of like me. Here's one time I got a sum of money, and I said, okay, so I ended up spending it, and which I never did, because I ended up buying things I didn't really need, and buying material things that I used it 1 or 2, 3 times and never picked it up again. So it easily happens that way. We all are like that. We're all humans. We all make that situation. We take that money and say, okay, we take that situation like that. And so what I wanted to say here today is, if you're actually coming to the Philippines, or actually will be coming to the Philippines, and you do have a lady, make sure she is who she is before you get involved in it. Because if you don't, you may find yourself in trouble down the road with the relationship, and you already lost. You already spent your time, your efforts, and $10,000-$20,000 US. And you say, oh boy, I really messed up. I learned from experience too, because I lost money also. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I'm perfect. No, I am not. I lost probably about $1,500 US before I woke up. So, and it's nickel and dime. It's always 100 here, 100 there, 100 here, 100 there, and before you know it, 200 here, 200 there, and before you know it, boom, it's $1,500 for you bat an eye. So, I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect, because I'm not, and I'm not sitting here saying that things are rosy, and it's really not rosy. I'm just saying that if you're getting involved in a relationship with a Filipina, the best thing you can do is make sure she is who she is. Make sure she's consistently on time, meaning if you set a time at 2 o'clock, she's on there at 2 o'clock. And you be the same with her. Ask her questions. Are you married? Yes, no. If you're not married, if you're married, you have an annulment? Yes, no. And if they don't have an annulment, things like that, be careful what you're doing there, because you can actually go to jail here for that. So do not get involved with a married lady. You get involved with a married lady, you can actually go to jail. So be very careful with any of that stuff, and because they don't have divorce here. So God bless everybody. Thank everybody for watching this video.